What's up, everyone? Ren Carothers here with your Future Stars forecast on this 2-year-old Tuesday. Can ya feel the excitement? We are getting so close to Breeders' Cup 2021, November 5th and 6th, where the turf meets the surf. I'm talking about Old Del Mar. And one of the horses who's created tremendous buzz and is going to go off as your favorite is Echo Zulu in the Juvenile Fillies. She is undefeated. She is just shown sensational talent, and I am very honored to have one of her owners joining me today. That is Michael Levinson, the L and L&L Racing LLC, who is part owner along with Winchell Thoroughbreds of Echo Zulu. So, and also, I mean, your dad, Lee, right? As in looking at Lee fame.
Yes, that's right.
True. So who's the N?
So that's for Don Nelson. It's one of our other partners, and so it's his last name. So we just, I don't know, we just put Levinson and Nelson together and called it L and N. Nothing special about it, but it catches on.
Have you and Ellen J thought about teaming up on a horse at any point?
No, we haven't. But yeah, I see their name in the program sometimes too, and I wonder if people ever get it confused.
I think we need to make that happen just to confuse people even more.
Yeah, we're always looking for new people to partner up with. So,
all right, Jamie, if you're listening, if you're out there, LNN may be interested in an LNJ LNN partnership going forward. Okay, so I was hoping to speak to you in person at the Phasic Tipton sale, which is going on right now, the October yearlings. I was going around talking to a lot of people actually, and one of the people with whom I did speak is Jake Ballas of Black Type Thoroughbreds. They have Hidden Connection, another undefeated filly, won the Pocahontas Stakes, decimated that field. And I asked him point blank, who is the filly to beat in that race? And of course he said the Asmussen horse, Echo Zulu. So tell us about, first of all, how you came into getting into this filly. You actually do have a history with the family itself already, but coming in with Winchell Thoroughbreds on her specifically, $300,000 Keeneland September yearling.
Yeah, so we had talked to Ron and DJ about partnering up before the sale, and Echo Town had just won his grade 1 at Saratoga and the Jerkins. And so this filly came up, and I saw it was out of the same dam, and it was by Gunrunner. Steve trained both Gunrunner and Echo Town. Obviously, we had Echo Town. I mean, it just made all the sense in the world. And you go back there and look at her, and I mean, she was beautiful. So she had some pedigree to go with it. So I mean, it's just kind of one of those things. The stars aligned, and it's just something I thought we had to have. So, and everybody else is in agreement as well. So.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. I mean, the buzz about these Gunrunner babies was strong from the jump. He was producing or siring very athletic foals. So it's no surprise that he was going to have success, but the success he's had, I mean, it's pretty remarkable. No, what did Three Chimneys just announce his fee at for next year? I think it's 125.
Yeah, I think they went to 125 on him, which is pretty incredible to go from 50 to 125, but I mean, he's had what 4 or 5 grade 1 winners, and obviously, I think Echo Zulu's leading the pack there. I mean, she's just been so impressive. So it's just really exciting for everybody involved.
Well, the other thing that's exciting too, and one of the things that I always love to see is when we have past Breeders' Cup champions go on to sire quality like this. Of course, Gunrunner himself won the Breeders' Cup Classic in 2017, there with the Breeders' Cup inaugural run at Del Mar. And so that was obviously a huge accomplishment on his resume. But I mean, we're talking about a horse who won just shy of $16 million. And he actually went on a grade 1 winning streak of the Breeders' Cup Classic. Or first of all, the Stephen Foster Handicap, the Whitney Stakes, the Woodward Stakes, the Breeders' Cup Classic, and then the Pegasus World Cup. So, I mean, and the funny thing is, here you've got this Son of Candy ride, and then he's out of a mare by Giants Causeway. And Giants Causeway, as you all know, second to Tis Now in the 2000 Breeders' Cup Classic. That was his first and only try on dirt. Very game horse. He was Cartier Horse of the Year in 2000 also. But Gunrunner's not even the only Breeders' Cup Classic champion Horse of the Year in that family, because his mom, again, that daughter of Giants Causeway, she's a half sister to 2005's winner and horse of the year, St. Liam. So Gunrunner is already coming with the goods. And like
Oh,
you, yeah.
yeah, sorry, absolutely. It's just incredible. And it seems like the further that they're going, the better that they're getting. And so that's kind of our hope with Echo Zulu is that, Echo Town was a sprinter, but hopefully but it was out of Speightstown, which is typically a little bit shorter distance runners. Hopefully maybe the gun runner gives her that, able to get the 8.5, 9 furlongs.
Well, the thing I always noticed with Gunrunner that stood out, the minute you watch him enter a paddock, he has this way of walking like a panther. He really just sachets, and the understep on that horse was always something that I took notice of because it was just he has such range of motion, and so it's not surprising he's passing it on to the get. But the other thing I found that's so interesting, as you've already said, he's sired, in addition to her, now a multiple Grade 1 winner. He sired a couple other another Grade 1 winner, a couple graded stakes winners, and there seems to be this pattern, as I mentioned before, with him being out of a mare by Giants Causeway. Giants Causeway is son of Stormcat. Here with this filly, we're seeing this pattern of the Stormcat and Gunrunner liking Stormcat and the mares, because you're damn here, like on my Echo by Menifee, Menifee by Harlan, Harlan by Stormcat. And I've noticed this with his other graded stakes winners as well, gun runners, that there's this affinity for the Stormcat to the Stormcat. And although he's producing quality no matter what, but that just seems to be like the graded stakes horses I've noticed so far have that same sort of pattern in there. And so that's pretty cool to see. And it's especially cool that you have this filly because her broodmare career is already set.
Yeah, I would think so. I would think people would want to breed and hopefully buy the foals at some point. I mean, obviously she's got tremendous speed, and there's a winner at 5.5, 7, and a mile now, and hopefully next Friday she's a winner at 2 turns. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I mean, she just seems like the complete package.
Well, you've got the stamina top and bottom. Again, we've just gone over Gunrunner's credentials, and then Menifee himself. I mean, let's not forget he did win the 1999 Bluegrass as well as the Haskell. So I gotta think she can get the 2 turns. And what I think is going to be fun for us now is we're going to take a look back, basically
Okay.
at her progression, going into that first race. And this was back at Saratoga on July 15th. Did you happen to be there for this?
I wasn't there. We were there for the spinaway, but I unfortunately I wasn't there for the 5.5 furlong maiden win, and then we missed the Furzette. We had some plane issues and we couldn't get there.
Oh, okay.
But we
You're
were
out in
there.
Oklahoma, right?
Yes. Yeah, we're based out of Tulsa, so it's typically hard to get places when you change planes and this and that. So
Well, I'm sure you had a fun watch party at the very least, right?
yes, absolutely we did.
So here I'm going to invite you to go ahead and basically take us through this race as I go ahead and pull it up on here, and what your thoughts were as you were watching it play out in real time. Get this full screen. And this is where my stomach is flip-flopping if I have any vested stake in it.
Yeah, no, it's exciting when to me, there's nothing more exciting than running your 2-year-old for the first time.
Yeah, because I'm sure she was giving you were getting glowing reports from Steve.
Yeah, Steve keeps it pretty close to the vest sometimes. I don't think he wants to get her expectations too high, but I mean, you can kind of see her. She broke, she didn't look like she was going to get out, and in 2 or 3 jumps, she's right out there with the leader. And I mean, you can just see how easy she's going. And I mean, we're not talking, 23-second quarter. I mean, we're going pretty fast here.
Yes.
And you can just see her just kind of range up. And the part I like on this race is that she's running even with the other one on the inside, and Ricardo just kind of shakes the reins at her, and you can literally see her kicking into another gear.
Yeah, yep, right there. Boom. She's like, okay, this was fun.
Yeah, and then you can see it right there. I mean, he's kind of just showing her the whip, and I mean, the rest is kind of history for this race.
And I've noticed this a lot when I'm going over replays of these horses who seem to just really excel at what they do and then continue to move forward, is they all have this same way about them where they look like they're really enjoying their job. And she looked like she was having fun out there.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think they're doing a great job of keeping her happy, and um, she likes to run fast, and it just looks like she enjoys what she's doing out there.
Now, was Ricardo getting this is Ricardo Santana Jr. aboard. Obviously, we know he and Steve pair up on on these horses. Did he give you any feedback early on himself? Was he getting up on her in the mornings?
I'm actually not sure about that. That would probably be a question for Steve. I know he's been on her several times since. But again, you just don't know until these 2-year-old run. They can work really great in the morning and then load them up in the gate and they just get a little mud in their face, or, don't get out where they want, and they just never fire.
Yeah, well, she's been firing. That was officially a 5.5 length debut. Hello, everybody. I am here on the scene there at Saratoga, and how great also it is to win at Saratoga.
Yeah, I mean, to win back-to-back grade ones there is just incredible. I mean, people have been in this for a lifetime and haven't gotten to experience it. And I mean, we're just extremely fortunate right now to have this horse, and had Echo Town last year, and it's just been a lot of fun. I mean, this is what you go to the sales for, and this is what you're looking for.
Well, Wayne Harrison, who's over across the pond, he says, "Hi, Ren. Echo Zulu as short as even money here. I got 4-1, but seems a bit short. Race is loaded. Hidden connection might be main danger. Good luck, Michael."
Well, thank you, Wayne. That's really nice.
And then Stuart David Cassidy says, "Could be an all-time great. Looks to have great scope for growth, too." I agree.
Yeah, so I think that was a little bit of the difference at the sale for me, with Echo Town and Echo Zulu. Obviously, you're taking a little bit of risk. I mean, you get to watch them walk around. Nobody knows who the fastest horse is going to be out of the sale.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just, it's best guess for everybody, depending on what you're going to spend. But I did notice that she had a lot more scope than Echo Town. And I actually saw Echo Town, um, about 4 weeks ago when I was in for the Keeneland sale, and he's actually grown out a lot as a 4-year-old. So it's interesting to see where they both are. And I think Echo Zulu is just a little bit ahead of where Echo Town was. So it's just exciting.
Oh, for sure. And then I got to give also some love to my other friend, Jason Luch of All About Family Stables, because they've got that connection via J Boy's Echo, who's
Oh,
part of
that's
the
right.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a half brother. And that was, I think it ran in the Derby and was a graded stakes winner as
He
well.
won the
So
Gotham. He put up 102 buyer
yeah.
in the Gotham Stakes. I even said to him, I said, "Well, do you have any more of the family left? Like, because obviously they breed." He said, "No."
Yeah, so we actually kind of buy like that. If we get one that we like that's been good for us, we always go look at the halves. And I just there's so many factors that go into buying these things, and there's so many to choose from. You have to find something that works for you, and that's kind of what we've been able to do.
Who do you work with when you go to the sales?
We do a lot of it ourselves. Steve will help us occasionally. He'll give us the yes or no final check, the green or red light on them. But yeah, we kind of do a lot by ourselves, and we've had some success doing it. So
Well, tell me how
so
you got
yeah.
into it. Like, even go further back before we move on to the next race.
So
Give us the insight into LNN.
okay, so we started in I think it was 2015. We bought a Pioneer of the Nile colt. It was an Oklahoma bred. Since we're from Oklahoma, that's kind of where we got started. We had bought it before American Pharoah won the Triple Crown.
Oh wow.
And
So yeah.
so at this point, we don't really know what we're doing. We know we've bought a well-bred horse, and we think since American Pharoah has won the Triple Crown that ours is going to be a Triple Crown winner. Well, it didn't work out like that. So the next year, in 2016, is when we went to. No, I should have been 2015. We went to the September sale for the first time and bought our first 2 yearlings at the sale. And again, we really didn't have any clue what we were doing. The funny story about looking at Leah's is we bought him as he walked out onto the stage, so into
Wow.
the auction ring. So hadn't looked at him before.
Wow.
It just caught our eye, and we decided to buy him. So
And you go and you run second in the Derby.
yeah, that was really exciting.
Oh, they had that type of success that early on. I'm sure you've heard that a lot.
Yeah, no, we have, and it's exciting, and obviously there's a little luck involved, and so I think we're putting ourselves in position to be lucky.
Well, what inspired your love of horse racing in the first place to want to get into the ownership side of it?
Um, my dad's been taking me to the racetrack since I was a little kid, and um, we just decided to jump in. We've always wanted to do it, and we had the resources to do it the right way, and we just decided to jump in. So now we're kind of all in now at this point. So we love it.
So I you should be loving it because this filly really it has been remarkable. So she follows up that 5.5 length maiden score, sprinting 5.5 furlongs. You come back on September 5th, which my late father's birthday, and in the 7 furlong grade one spin away, and she does not disappoint. She wins this race by 4 lengths. So let's go ahead and take a look back at the frisettes, or at the spinaway rather.
Yes.
Let's see here.
And so this is the most nervous I've ever been before a race because normally you're not 3 to 5 in a grade one. And
Yeah.
so now instead of like trying to find a way to win, we're supposed to win type thing. And
Do
she
you,
kind of stumbles out of the gate a little bit here, but again, 1 or 2 jumps and she's just right up to the front.
she's just so cool. So do you guys take turns with the silks?
Yeah, we just kind of put Steve in charge of that. It's not at this point. We just want to win. So if
Yeah,
we're
right.
running in Ron Silks or ours, or if Steve wants to put his on there, it doesn't bother me. This is just incredibly exciting, and I mean, what an opportunity to potentially be able to win a Breeders' Cup.
Oh gosh, yes.
And so at this point, when they throw the half mile up, I'm kind of concerned because they're not supposed to be the 2-year-olds aren't supposed to be able to go 44 and change,
No,
and
right?
Ricardo just be standing up on her.
No, it doesn't even look like he's doing anything.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
just crazy. And he kind of shakes the reins at her. I think he taps her one time to just kind of keep her mind at business. But I mean, it feels like there's no threat from anybody coming from behind, and she's just kind of doing it pretty easy.
gosh, just look at her.
And she runs a really fast time here, 122 that day. There was some rain on the track, um, that had that was still in the track a little bit.
Yeah, it was
So
officially listed as good that day.
yes, yeah. So the track's pretty deep, and man, she just got out there and just did her thing, and it's just really exciting.
Oh gosh. So how did you celebrate after this? Because you said you were there, right?
Yes. Yeah, they
Nope.
took us down to like the little champagne room. Never got to do that before, and so because we weren't able to go to Echo Town's grade one win because of
Oh,
the COVID restrictions, so we had to watch that one
oh.
from home. So it was just a great day. We had our silks on there. I mean, it's just
When you won the H. Allen Jerkin?
yeah, yeah. We weren't able to go because you had to
Oh.
quarantine 14 days in New York, so weren't able to make it out for that.
Gosh, and that yeah, I mean, like, you don't wanna miss any race when you have a great prospect like that, but let alone a grade 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Saratoga is such a great town in which to celebrate too.
Yes, no, I mean it's the Saratoga is a true racing town.
Yes.
It's a lot like Oaklawn. I mean, I don't know
Do
if
you do the
anybody's.
whole Sperry stop? I always go to Sperry's for the popovers.
I don't know that we went there. We were
What?
downtown, but I don't know if we made it to that place or not.
Gosh, no, it's a must do. You go to Sperry's, you go to the open bar,
Okay,
and, like, you hang out because, like, they got that whole outdoor, deal, and the popovers that they have that instead of bringing out, like, a bread basket, they're so good. If anybody's had the popovers there at Saratoga, hit up the comments. And you know what's okay, if you haven't done that, then there's probably something else you haven't done, and I'm gonna name drop this as well because this is a must do for me. I go to I don't know if you've seen it, but there's like this little shack before you go into the racetrack's main entrance. It's called the
okay.
Trackside Grill. And they have a breakfast sandwich there. I mean, it's just, your typical ham, egg, and cheese, but it's so good. It's so
Oh,
good.
well, if we have another 2-year-old next year at Saratoga in one of these races, I'll have to do both of those things when I go back.
You
So
have to. I mean, come on. And the horseshoe. The horseshoe is always fun. Uh, but you got to get ready to get rowdy if you go over there.
that's okay.
So okay, I mean, my gosh, a 4 length victory there over again. A track listed as good. She is now a grade 1 winner, gun runner's first grade 1 winner. And again, this is his first crop. So I'm guessing you guys, even though it looks like a solid partnership. This is our filly. Was anybody now feeling you out for offers on her? Like, hey, would you maybe?
No, we haven't had any. We haven't had anybody call to
Because
try
they know
to.
you're going to say no.
Yeah, we're gonna say no at this point. So I don't know what Ron's take is, but we're enjoying this.
Well, how
So
rewarding is it for him with the connection to
oh,
Gunrunner to see this
I can't
filly?
imagine what the emotions that he's going through right now. I mean, it's just special for him to have Gunrunner win the classic, win all those grade ones, and now his first babies are just doing incredible, and he owns with us on what I think is the best one right now. So
Yeah. I mean,
um,
that is a fair thing to say. I
yeah, and hopefully hopefully she is what we think she is, and hopefully she goes on to just do bigger and better things. I mean, we're just really excited about her.
Well, other people are excited about her too. Mark Erlandson says, I love her running form. She runs like Gunrunner, head level and purposeful.
Yeah, I think, and the crazy thing about it is Gunrunner was like a good 2-year-old, was a really good 3-year-old, and at 4, obviously, was just a world beater. And so you've got to think she's going to get better
Yeah.
next year and the year after. And
Isn't that scary?
yeah, I mean, it's just kind of crazy to think about.
And I love the progression. You're just stepping her up 5.5, then the 7 furlong. Then we go into the mile long frisette at Belmont, Big Sandy. And so now, we're gonna see this progression. Now we're gonna go to in the juvenile fillies stretcher out further. And then hopefully, like you're talking about, as she develops further, I mean, you've got to be also. I know everybody says a race at a time, but come on, you got to be in the back of your mind also thinking Oaks.
Yeah, we're just kind of focused in on Friday, next Friday for
I
sure.
know, I know, I know. Nobody wants to jinx anything.
You're
It's
right.
it's like, well, let's just get through this race first. But I think it's okay to think big and get your goal board going and all that good stuff. Mitchell Ross, how do you think she will handle Del Mar? Well, she's already in California preparing, right?
Yeah. Steve did a great job. Got her out there early. We wanted to take out that element of the travel across country, so we got her out there. I think the Wednesday after the Frizette. So she's doing great out there. She's had 2 works. She's galloped out really strong. I just think she's a horse that's going to handle whatever you throw at her. So I don't foresee the track being a problem.
No,
I just think she's that kind of talent. So we'll see.
and then anonymous. Ooh, intriguing. This saying gun runner fan here. Yeehaw. All right. Throwing down a little Matt Chapman with the yeehaw. I
Okay.
think
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I dropped my pen, so I'm gonna dip out for just a sec.
Okay.
Got it back. Okay, so so now let's go ahead and this is so much fun. I love being able to watch these horses continue to move forward. So, like I said, we watched her debut. We just watched the Grade One Spinaway there later in the meet at Saratoga. And now again, we go to Belmont, Big Sandy. We go the mile test in the Frizette Stakes. And she passes with obviously flying colors. So let's go ahead and we'll share the audio and Rosette. Share and make it full screen.
And so I'm even more nervous now because we're 1-5 with a chance to win an end to the Breeders' Cup race. So I mean,
and it was a good beginning for Echo Zulu, who is going.
but yeah, you can see she just breaks her really clean today. Just gets right out to the front.
And look at the ears go right up.
Yeah, and I mean they're pressing her. I mean they're going really really fast here. I mean even the guys on Fox Sports, I think Kitchens said he just couldn't believe how easy she was going, and I mean they were going very very fast for a mile race at Belmont.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and you can see over there Gerrymander, like he's trying to pull her back. He like because like you're saying, they're going so fast.
Yeah. And so like they're going fast and she's just doing it so easy, but everybody else is having to go fast to try to keep up. So it's not a matter of her going too fast and them coming from the back. I just think she just cut from a little bit different cloth and she just is able to do these things that they're not supposed to be able to do.
Well, you know how often they say, a horse has real ability when they can put in fast times, but it looks like they're not even going
Yeah,
at that
exactly.
speed. And that's what it looks like to me. It looks to me like the other horses are really moving, but she just looks like she's, again, well within herself, galloping along like, hey.
Yeah. And I just think the separation there on the turn is just, it looks like there's two coming after her. And again, Ricardo just kind of shakes the reins, hits her a couple times with the whip just to keep her attention. And I mean, she's just gone. This is hard to believe.
Yeah. I love Embriel, by the way. I think he's one of the most,
Yeah, he did a
like,
great race call here.
he's got one of those classic race call announcer voices, and just the style. It's old school, and I really enjoy listening to his calls, and it makes it so exciting. And so you're watching your filly here, and did I already ask you, were you at this race too, or?
No, we weren't able to make it out for this one. We wanted to be there, but we had some plane problems, so we weren't able to make it out.
Oh, that's right.
Fortunately, yeah.
So here's the interesting thing, and what has the feedback been for you? Because I'm sure you probably were curious as well. So the Frisette was run on a different day than the Champagne,
Yes, that's
and
right.
she put in a faster time than Jack Christopher. Now I know they adjusted Jack Christopher's final time ultimately,
Yeah,
but hers was still faster, and yet he had the higher buyer, although she still put up, I think, a 90 here. Um, so did you hear anything back on that feedback-wise? I'm sure you would have been curious as well.
yeah, it's curious to know what the difference between the tracks were less than 24 hours apart. I think he ended up with 102 buyer and we ended up with 90. And I mean, there's no, maybe the track was faster on Sunday than it was Saturday, but I don't see how it was 2 seconds
Right.
faster on Sunday. So
I mean, she stopped the clock at 135, and if you want to get real specific, 12/100ths, but I mean, basically 130.
yeah, and I mean, she's basically a hand ride for the last 16th of a mile as well. So I think if Ricardo ever sits her down, she's gonna kind of really take off.
I mean, to put that also in perspective, I mean, carrying 134 pounds, Dr. Fager holds the world record for a mile of 134. So I mean, this is a 2-year-old filly.
Yeah, I mean, she's just freakishly fast. I mean, it's just really nothing else to say about her. I mean, she's out of a grade 1 producing dam and
Yeah.
by Gun Runner, who, I mean, was one of the best horses of all time.
Yeah, she's so exciting, and I gotta think that, I mean, obviously we're gonna see her installed as your morning line favorite, and I would have to think she's gonna go off your post time favorite. Who, if anybody, are you a little bit, well, at least thinking is your main competition in here? Is there one horse, or are there a couple horses?
I would say all three of the other winning in races. I mean, those are all tough to win those races. I mean, there's 23,000 foals born every year. So, that's, basically roughly 11 or 12,000 fillies. And I mean, these are the four best right now in the country and in the world. And I mean, they're not just going to hand it to us. It's going to be tough. So it's like everything else, everybody wants to win. So,
Well, I'd be curious too. Who broke her in the beginning?
she was broke down at Laredo, Texas, with
Oh.
Steve's dad, Keith Asmussen.
Oh, yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah, so we send all of our horses down there. We've had really good luck with Keith and Cash down in Laredo, so we wouldn't send him any other place. So,
What's her temperament like?
according to Steve, she's just a cool customer. We were in the paddock for the spinaway, and I mean there were a lot of people, and I mean her ears are just perked the whole time. I mean she's just as cool as can be, and hopefully she handles the big crowd at Del Mar next Friday. But Steve and his team will have her ready. So.
Well, that's for sure. I mean, they're no strangers to giant
Yeah, and the
stakes.
job that Steve has done with this horse is amazing. I mean, pick the right spot at Saratoga, get her started. We skipped the grade 2, hoping that is what she is, and win the spinaway. A month later, go to the Frisette, and now a month later, we're already in California. So I just think he just done a tremendous job with her.
So when are you heading out?
We leave Thursday, so we'll be there Thursday
Okay.
morning.
Oh gosh. And do you have any like, plans to make it sort of not just about the races, but also, I mean, Del Mar is so beautiful. You got that whole little village basically in there, and
Yeah, we have some family out there we're gonna go have lunch with on Thursday and kind of just relax Thursday, enjoy the nice weather. We're staying at Torrey Pines, so probably go
oh,
to a golf
nice.
course. So, yeah, we're just gonna try to take it all in. But come Friday, we're all just gonna be a bunch of nervous wrecks.
Do
So,
you golf at all?
yeah, we do. Yeah, I do. I'm not
Well,
very
if you're
good,
gonna
but I
be there,
try.
maybe you need to bring your clubs with you. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I thought about it. There's just so much going on that week that weekend. I mean, we're just
Could
come
set you up
Friday.
with Caleb Keller. You can go
Yeah,
golf.
that's right. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he loves golf. I remember being over like when they had their Animal House West. Like he's got like one of those like indoor putter things where
Okay.
you know what I'm talking about? The
Yeah, the
cleats?
mats.
Yeah. He just puts away right there and practices his swing. I never knew he took it so seriously until then.
Yeah, the golf game is about as serious as the racehorses. Just for pride, and everybody wants to do better than the other and get better. But it's like, I mean, golf and horse racing are about one and the same. I mean,
Do you know
for me, I only hit about 20% good shots, and that's basically all you're going to win racing horses is 20%, and it's like doing very, very well. So
oh.
we're,
Well, who else
this.
do you have in the pipeline that we should be keeping our eye out on? Like, do you have any exciting yearlings like going into 2022 that we should be like, okay, well, they
Yeah,
obviously
we bought two in the fast tip in July, and then we bought quite a few at Keeneland. We partnered up with Mulholland Springs on
oh,
two
okay.
horses, and so actually one of the horses we partnered up on is a Justify filly that's in the Looking at Lee family.
Oh,
So we have
nice.
a soft spot for those, and then we split a Into Mischief colt that's a full brother to Maximus Mischief. So we're excited about those two.
Right. No, that's awesome. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. And I mean, this is again just so exciting too. I mean, I know we're far away from projecting anything, but if you had some sort of foresight, is this a type of filly where you maybe would want to, keep in regards to a broodmare band, or is this a horse that would be like a Knight of Stars in the future when she's all done?
I just think for the money that she's probably going to end up being worth, hopefully, it seems like a Knight of Stars, because I mean, she's going to be able to fund our operation for the foreseeable
Yeah,
future. So, and we
it's
want her
still
in the right
something.
hands, and
Yeah.
want her to be treated well and get bred to the right stallion, and hopefully at some point her offspring are as good as she is.
Oh, definitely. I mean, when you're already out of a mare that's a multiple grade one producing dam, and then your sire is already out of the blocks, siring multiple grade one winners with his first book of mares. I think the broodmare career is going to be solid for you. Stuart David Cassidy says, "Lovely people, thanks for the show and keeping us up to speed." So obviously, you're out there for the whole weekend. Do you like? And you said you grew up going to the track with your dad. So I would have to assume you know well how to handicap. How are you looking at playing some of these other races? I'm just
I don't
curious.
know. I think there's a couple horses that are just probably a little bit better than the rest of them. Jackie's Warrior, I think, is
To stand out.
standout. Gamine. I think the Classic's a really good race. I think there's a lot
What
of
do you
speed
think
there.
of that? I mean, the classic is this race that obviously that everybody's trying to guess. Basically, I was talking to Bob Feld. I'm sure you know Bob. I was
Uh-huh.
talking to him yesterday at the sale, and he was saying that he obviously knows that you've got a lot of horses in there with speed. We got Nick's Go, you got Medina Spirit. He does not think I mean, he even says the cliche saying, pace is gonna make the race in this race. It's gonna be a jockey's race. But he says, as much as we've got the speed in here, he does not think that it's gonna be necessarily as fast as we might think, given that obviously we're gonna be going this mile a quarter in this grade one race. He thinks that it's gonna be a jockey's race of chess essentially. So, what is your take on it? And do you have a play already? Or are you still waiting to see official field with posts?
Yeah, I think the post is going to be a big deal. I just think a horse like Medina Spirit has to be out on the lead. He's kind of horse that's just when he's gotten out, he hadn't been caught, and so I could see maybe him and Nick's Go getting into it, but Nick's Go is just really fast, and he seems to do it really easily, and I just think they're going to have a tough time getting out in front of him.
I know, and this is a horse who's going to be doing something that he hasn't done before and going that 1.25 mile distance. I looked at the pedigree, and I mean, I think there's enough there to think he can do it, but it all depends on how fast he has to go. Obviously, if he's getting pressed in a situation, potentially like Medina Spirit, and they hook and cook each other, then that opens up the ballpark. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's a little bit how the track's playing as well. I think that was the amazing thing about Gunrunner in 2017 is if you go back and look at a lot of those races, none of the front runners that day were able to stay on the lead. And he did it so fast and was able to stay in front and win pretty comfortably in was really, really impressive.
yeah, and just watching your fillet. I kind of was reminded of Latruska a bit in that, we all know that Latruska is so good, and the thing you have to be concerned with her is she can go so fast that if you try to go out with her, it's a suicide mission. But if you let her go, you're gonna have way too much work to do. So either way,
Yeah, I think that's a little bit of the catch-22 with Echo Zulu, and
yeah.
I mean, I don't know that we necessarily just want to get out to an easy lead and let them, stay on
Come and
her.
get me.
Just kind of let her get out, do her thing, and see if they can keep up.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't, I'm always a proponent of don't take a horse's game away from them. If that's what they want to do, don't fight them, because so often we've seen horses wrestled back, or you take them out of their zone and they just don't perform as they would have otherwise. It can mentally throw them out. If you physically change up their stride, it can take them out. And she just goes so easily that if she can get out there and just be comfortable and get into that rhythm, come around that turn, and you've got that shorter stretch there at Del Mar. I think she could basically, put it right in the basket, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully that's the plan. You just never know with these 2-year-olds going 2 turns
Yeah.
the first time, and you're in against, like I said, you're in against the best in the world, best 2-year-old fillies in the world. So anything can happen, but I mean, I wouldn't trade places with anybody
Oh
at this point.
no.
So
Now
I'm
I know you don't own Gunite, but maybe you have any insight just because you got the Steve connection. Wayne's wondering what happened to Gunite. Never ran his race last time.
that I don't know. That would be a question for Steve. I know
Yeah.
that Gunite was shipped out with Echo Zulu to California. I don't know if they're planning on running him or not. But I would assume they probably take a chance.
Mhm.
Gun run around 2 turns, maybe just kick the last race out.
Mhm.
Maybe just went a little too fast early and got a little tired, but maybe he'll do better around 2 turns and not have to go as quick. And obviously, the horse that won that day is a really, really fast colt. So
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I will also say, I mean, let's see here. Jay Bird is saying basically what the fastest will win. Simple. I mean, it's all about breeding fast horses, right? But you're hoping to just who can carry that speed.
yeah, I read some statistics about the race, and I don't know if they matter or not, but
Are you a numbers guy? Like, are
yeah, a little
numbers like
bit. I just it's a little bit percentages, and they said the horses that have gotten out that are within 2.5 lengths of the lead are typically they're ones that win the juvenile races. So I mean that makes sense. It's just I mean there's just not many horses that are able to close or that are deep closers anymore. It's
oh
just all
yeah.
about speed, and you've got to get out there and the problem for coming from behind is you've got to have a perfect trip or else you get caught in traffic. And I mean we know all about that with looking at Lee. So I mean
Yes.
he was a real deep closer, and we had a lot of tough rock races where he kind of just horse got in his way and didn't get
Yeah.
a clean trip, but he just kind of always kept coming.
Well, to live vicariously through you, though, I mean, to be an owner at the Kentucky Derby with a legitimate prospect, what was that day like for you? Were there any standout memories? I saw you walk the red carpet.
Yeah, the red carpet was actually maybe one of the funnest things that we
Tell
did.
me about it.
You're just back there. I think the Vineyard Vine guys were behind us. There
Did
was a
you get
couple
some free
Dallas.
swag?
What's that? No,
Did you,
no. I probably should have asked for it, but
right?
yeah, we're just kind of a little bit starstruck at that point. But actually, it's kind of interesting when you're the owner. You're kind of the star that day. The horses and the owners and the connections are kind of star because everybody's there to see the horses run. So it was just interesting, man. People were like, "Oh, you've got the horse," and "Oh, I like that horse." And so it was just a really cool experience. Got to meet a couple of the Dallas Cowboys players. Got to do the red carpet thing. It was just really cool.
Are you a big sports guy outside of horse racing and golf?
Yeah. I like football and basketball.
Who you going for in the World Series?
I kind of want to see Mattress Mac win that $35 million. So people are
too.
going to kill me for saying this, but I'm kind of rooting for the Astros. I just want to see him do it.
You know what? My husband, his parents live in Houston, so obviously they're Stros fans. And in fact, when Matt went to go visit his dad recently, they went to a game and he brought back a little T-shirt for our 3-year-old daughter. And yeah, he knows obviously people. Oh gosh, the Astros. But you know what? I think it actually makes for a good story when you think about it, right? Because it's the redemption story, right?
Right. Yeah, a little bit.
But Matt was telling me today, and you probably know this, and if I misspeak here, please correct me. But I think there's the Atlanta Braves assistant manager or somebody who's in the team there, because I'm a horses and hockey person, so I don't even know all the different designations. I'm sorry, everybody.
Okay.
But his son is actually part of the team for the Astros. So you have family members on you have a guy who's in a top tier position there with the Braves, and then his son works for the Astros.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
It's like, who does the wife root for, her husband or her son?
Yeah, I guess the Curry family had the same thing when I guess Stephen and and the other Curry kid were playing in the NBA Finals, and they were having to root for one or the other. So that had to be kind of a little bit awkward. So
what's awkward is me watching it.
Somebody has to win.
Exactly.
There's no dead heat in those things. So
no. Have you? Gosh, have you been in that scenario yet? Like, have your family members bought into any other horses that maybe you weren't part of?
No, we kind of keep it just in house. It's mainly my dad, my brother, and myself. So the three of us, and then with our other partner. So yeah.
I think that's right. And how does the strategizing go? Like, do you sit down, for example, ahead of sales and say, okay, well, here's our budget for this sale. We'd like to buy X amount of horses. And then you basically have it mapped out for the next year.
A little bit. The problem with the sales is you get on one that you like and you think you're going to be able to buy it. And before you know it, you haven't even got to put your hand in the air and it's at 600,000 or 700,000 and you're just kind of just blown out. And so we kind of just shoot from the hip when we go. We try to go look at everything we can. And like I said, we kind of look back at some of the good ones that we've had and try to buy out of those families. And so we actually bought a Kingman that's a half to Hidden Enemy. That's been a pretty good turf horse for him. He's actually running Thursday at Belmont. So
I love that Kingman. It was
he was so beautiful.
Yes. Oh, that's exciting. For sure.
So,
have you thought about going overseas at all for like Tattersall's or any of the sales? Golf?
No, we typically just try to stick to the Fast Tipton and Keeneland, and we've done a little bit of the 2-year-olds. We haven't had much luck. But yeah, mainly just the yearlings is kind of what we like. I think the most values in the yearling sales.
Yeah, well, I love that and that's a long time. It takes a lot of patience. I don't think people. Yeah, I was talking with a lot of friends at the sale, just in terms of how it's really remarkable that if you think about a lot of the people who watch racing from the outside, not everybody, but I think a lot of people have no clue just how much time you have and how rare it is not only to just get to the winner's circle for any race, let alone a stakes or a grade 1, but to even get your horse to the dance in the first place.
Yeah, no, it's extremely difficult. We've had, like I said, we've had really good success down in Laredo with Keith Asmussen. But yeah, it's extremely difficult to get one from the sale to the starting gate, and then to win one of these 2-year-old maiden special weights at Churchill or Keeneland or Saratoga or Del Mar. I mean, the odds are just so stacked against you. It's just incredible when you were able to win one. And that's what everybody's is at those sales trying to buy is a 2-year-old that's either on the Oaks or the Derby Trail.
Well, I'm guessing you guys must be all like, I don't know you extensively, but I'd have to say you must all be really good people, because to have this much success this early, there must just be like good vibes around you.
Yeah, like I said, we've been fortunate. I mean, I won't lie, we've been lucky in some spots, but I feel like we're putting ourselves in a spot to be lucky.
Well, before I let you, because usually I go about an hour with these. We're at about 45 minutes. So I feel like I can ask you a few more questions if you don't mind.
No, go for it.
Okay. So how did you come to like the relationship with Steve in particular?
So one of our good friends here in Tulsa, Clark Brewster, who's one of his longtime owners, kind of connected us, and we kind of just went from there. And we were very loyal to Steve. He trains for us exclusively, and I wouldn't have anybody else train for us.
Well, what do you think's part of the training program that sets him apart?
I just think of how hard he works. I've asked him this before. I don't know when the guy sleeps. I mean, and the most amazing thing about him is you'll ask him about your $5,000 claimer, and he'll know when he worked, when he's going to work again, and when his next race is. And it's the same with that horse or your horse like Echo Zulu.
Wow.
And he's
Yeah.
just very attentive to the details. He's got great people that work with him. So, I mean, I just have nothing but praise for him. So,
Yeah, he obviously has incurred, or has been so successful because of that type of dedication. I remember after Gunrunner had this was ahead of the actual Breeders' Cup Classic itself. It was during media week. So obviously it was after he had won the Whitney, and that's when the horseshoe happened, where they found the horseshoe in his tail after the
oh,
race,
yeah.
right? And he told this great story because I asked him about it regarding what did you do with the shoe? I don't know why as far as I knew, nobody had asked him that question yet. So I felt pretty smart. I was like, "What did you do with the shoe?" And he said, and if somebody did, I'm sorry, I must have missed it. In any case, so he said that they took it and they shadow boxed it or something along those lines. And he actually he got teary eyed and he was talking about how it's their lucky horseshoe.
Yeah. I mean, to have a horse like Gunrunner, whether you own it, train it, or you're riding it, I mean, those horses, they're kind of once in a lifetime type horses. And to be a part of that and just any edge that you think you can get from just little things like that, I mean, you got to be superstitious if you're going to own horses. So, I mean, I
I'll
get
admit
it.
I'll admit I'm not. I can't tell you how many times people during the course of this show go, "You know your horseshoes are upside down over there." And I'm sort of like, "Well, don't you think they'd look weird if they were both the other way? Because I like it this way because it looks like they're crawling up the wall instead of down the wall. Because
Right.
I like things in ascent, not descent."
Right. No, yeah, I didn't even know about the upside down horseshoe deal. So,
I mean, I'll admit, like Matt and I, our wedding was Triple Crown themed, actually. And
okay.
so no, I'm not even joking. Like we had at that time there were only 11 Triple Crown winners, so the tables were all named after the Triple Crown champions. I put my parents at Secretariat.
Okay. I actually like that. It's actually pretty cool.
Cocktail hour. We had little mini hot browns. We had Maryland crab cakes, and we had pizza for New York. I couldn't think what I thought New York style pizza was fit.
Right.
But our wedding invitations had horseshoe like you would tear the if you were coming, you could tear the end of it off and it was a little horseshoe the correct way, saying
Okay.
love wins. And that it was all you mean you didn't get married to a horse theme? Come on.
Right. Yeah, I could probably see myself doing that at some point.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, they tell us still, like friends, they say your cocktail hour was like the best of any wedding I've been to. But the sad thing is, Matt and I totally missed our own cocktail reception because we were getting the photos done. That would
That's
be
usually
my
what happens when you have weddings.
that
You
would be
miss
my
all the fun
advice to
parts.
you. You're not married?
No, no.
Okay, here's my advice to you. You need pictures are important, don't get me wrong, and I treasure our pictures. Our photographers were awesome. But enjoy your cocktail hour. Like, make sure that nothing overlaps that.
Right.
Because again, Matt was out with some friends the other night, and he's like, "Yep, they're talking about our cocktail hour that we."
And you didn't get to experience it.
No, like we had this great. Look, I'm not making the show about me, guys. I'm just saying this real quick. We had this great like instrumental strings. Um, I don't know. I mean, just musicians. They get together and like they can play classical music, but what we had them doing was playing alternative music. So for example, they're doing an instrumental on cello and violin of Smells Like Teen Spirit from Nirvana. And
Oh, that's actually pretty cool.
and like Metallica and like stuff like that, but again, all on string. So I guess people really enjoy that. And again, they enjoy those cocktails, the hors d'oeuvres and whatever. But like, we'd been out doing the photos. We got back and we were scarfing down some of the food after the fact. And I don't know. But so that's my advice. That's my advice.
Okay, I'll take that to heart.
And if you need a wedding planner, I know a great one. But
Okay.
look at me. I'm setting it all up for you now. Oh my gosh. So, okay. We went through like just how great it is to have this filly in the barn. Does anybody have any questions for Michael? This is a great time. Here we have a filly that looks like could be, not just a star on Future Stars Friday, but like actually stamp herself as like a megastar going forward as well. So if you have any questions for Michael before I let him go, get those in now. Otherwise, I'm going to keep asking you questions about the Breeders' Cup itself, in terms of as far as the Future Stars Friday card goes. You talked a little bit about who you're looking forward to seeing on Saturday, but as far as November 5th, outside of the Juvenile Fillies, are there any other young horses that you're kind of looking forward to? Horses that you think may be big time contenders once we get onto that Derby trail, since you've been along it yourself?
Yeah, I think the male juvenile race is really interesting. I think it looks like they're going to have like 12 to 14. I don't know what the max entries is, but it looks like there's a bunch of people in there that are going to take shots, and like something crazy could happen in that race. I just think it's one of those races that I don't know, the colts have really separated themselves from each other at this point. I know that Jack Christopher ran the 102 buyer. I'm partial to the Speightstown family just because of Echo Town. So I would like to see
2004 Breeders' Cup Sprint champ.
That's right. So it'll be interesting to see if the Munnings colt can get the 2 turns or not. But outside of that, obviously if Steve runs Gunite, I would love to see Gunite win it. So, and for Ron. So
wouldn't that be something if
that
Gunner
would
took
be
both the?
Yeah, I would like for somebody to tell me the odds on both of them winning, but
Wouldn't that be something? Oh my gosh. Well, we did have, in terms of a jockey, we did have Stevens come back, one of the craziest comebacks ever to win, as a jockey, obviously, but to win the distaff aboard Beholder and win the classic aboard Mucho Macho Man.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That was epic. But yeah, for a stud to do that. Well, okay, we do have some questions for you. Would the dream to be end up in the Oaks with Echo Zulu? Because I know we talked about that a little bit, but that would?
Yeah, absolutely. We would love to be in the Oaks with her. We'd love to continue on that path. But like I've said earlier, we've got to win Friday first. Got to be able to get the 2 turns at this point, and hopefully she gets a good trip, and hopefully she's able to do it.
Here's a question for you, and I know it's kind of tough with the point system for Philly, but let's say she crushes on Future Stars Friday, and let's say she takes a little time off, comes back in the 3-year-old season, and she's just still dominant, and even in greater fashion. Are you an ownership group that would ever entertain the idea of going into a Kentucky Derby prep?
There's been some fillies in the past that have done that. Obviously, that would be a dream, is to run the filly against the males and win, the Bluegrass Stakes or the Arkansas Derby or the Rebel or something like that. But I don't know. I don't know if it would add anything to her to potentially go try to win the Derby. I don't know. That's just a really hard question to answer.
Well, hopefully we'll be in a position.
Part of the problem is I'm very nervous for next Friday, so I just want to get through that, and then
No, I understand that for sure.
I feel like sometimes people get into these things and like they'll be in May or June and they're, well, I'm pointing my horse to the Classic, and I go to myself, I'm like, well, you've got to win to get to that point. Like, how do you just say I'm going to point myself to the Classic when you're not there yet? To me, that's the hard thing for me.
No, I understand.
And I'm superstitious, so that's part of it.
You know what I tell anybody who's superstitious, like for real? And I'm sure what I'm going to tell you is not going to change anything because you're in your way of how you look at life. I'm sure, but I always say this to the superstitious out there, especially. I mean, I'm married to a horse player, right? And you hear all these different things from other horse players, and I always say, do you really think that where you stood to watch a race, or whatever teller you went to make your bet, or whatever underwear you happen to be wearing? Not that that's one of Matt's, but I'm just saying.
Right.
I just say, do you think any of that had any influence on all the training and all the work and all the preparation that was put into the horse, everything the jockey did, everything the trainer did? Because you must think you got a lot of power in the universe that anything you did messed anything up.
Right. I guess I pick and choose what I'm superstitious about.
That's okay.
And I think the superstitious part for me is like when we bought her, it's like everything lined up. Like, how could it be that the half to Echo Town is by Gunrunner? Like, what are the odds of that? Like, it could have been any other sire, and we probably don't end up with her.
Right. No, I understand. Like I said, I mean, I don't make fun of anybody. If people got their stuff, but I always just feel that way because I'm like, I have a lot of confidence in myself. I don't think I can manipulate what happens to other people.
Right.
But, everybody has their things and what they're comfortable with. I mean, my gosh, like you're talking about the nerves right now. I know what you're talking about. I never was at the level you are ever. But I mean, just by virtue of having a horse get into the gate in any race, whether it's a claimer or whatever it happens to be, the nerves. And like you're saying, there's something, it's one thing when you're the long shot. When you're the favorite, it feels even more like that expectation, because then if it doesn't go the way you want, then the questions come, well, what happened wrong? What went wrong?
Right.
And you hope there's an explanation if that's the case. Let's see here. You got more questions. Let's see here. If you could own any horse at the Breeders' Cup other than Echo Zulu, who would you want to own? Life is good for me.
Who would I want to own? Maybe like Gamine. I just think she's got a really solid. I mean, she's like 9 for 10. She's going to be 1-2 in her race. I mean, yeah, if I had to pick another horse just for the Breeders' Cup day, I would say Gamine, because I just feel like that's probably the most sure winner of the day. I hope I don't jinx that horse, but
no, you don't know. You're not going to jinx her. It's all good. It's all good. Let's see. Oh, and I love Gamine. He agrees. Right here, actually, this actually happens to be my mom. How did the name come about? Echo Zulu, Echo Town, Echo, J-Boy's Echo, just hearkening back into Let Go My Echo?
Yeah, actually, Ron came up with the name. He asked me for some suggestions, and I just said we just need to put Echo in front. Let's just not break the chain here from the one grade one to the other one. Yeah. And so he came up with the Zulu part. I think we originally had another name picked out, but I think the Jockey Club rejected it I guess it was too similar to something else. So.
Oh, okay. So then you could say what it is then. Right?
Yeah, I guess he was going to go with Echo Star.
Oh, okay.
But we went, they rejected it. So we went to Echo Zulu, which it's a great name.
Oh yeah. No, I thought you were going to say they rejected it because it was like,
obscene or something? No, nothing like that.
No, you're too classy for that.
Yeah.
There have been some crazy names, though. I'm not going to repeat them here, but I'll tell you, like, there have been some names that gotten past the Jockey Club that I'm like, come on.
Right. Yeah, they reject some, and then some they just kind of let through, and you're like, how did that happen?
I know. I mean, okay, well, there's one I will say, because, it's not obscene, but, like, there's that horse. Isn't there a horse named No More Strippers? I mean,
I don't know about that.
maybe the message is good about not spending money.
Right.
But like, I don't know how that gets through the Jockey Club. Let's see here. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. This Maharashtra. Oh, I think I know what that's Philly. I don't know if this is how it's spelled. Isn't this a horse that just won in
Is that the 3-year-old filly?
I don't know if he means Malathot.
Maybe Malathot?
See, what do you think of her, by the way? I mean, she's only lost one time. She just got nailed. Head.
The distaff is like really strong this year. I think Clariere's coming on.
But this is where we got Latruska, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, if I think obviously Malathot's the obvious better. I don't know. There's going to be a much better price, but other horse anyway. But again, it's going to be like who's gonna go out there and duke it out with Latruska on the front.
I mean, somebody's going to have to go up there and try it. I just think if she gets out to an easy lead, it's probably pretty tough for them to catch up.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I don't know. I know where all your focus is, and hopefully you get the job done with her, and then you come out to Kentucky for real. Night of Stars, not for to sell her out, but for you to come out to
Right.
Night of Stars so I can
Right.
do the follow-up interview with you
Okay.
here in Kentucky. And again, I mean, just an exceptional filly, and we are so excited for her, for you, a rootable group. Again, LNN Racing, along with Winchell Thoroughbred, Steve Asmussen, or however you want to say it, so long as there's not an expletive in it. So he
Right.
tells me, Ricardo Santana Jr. Philly coming in the race undefeated, 3 for 3. Looking to extend that record. Already a 2-time Grade 1 winner. Amazing. And Michael, I got to thank you. We're going to do it. Any final things you want to say?
Oh, no, I think we're good. I appreciate you having me on and
Oh
really enjoyed
gosh,
the
no, we
conversation.
appreciate it. And so I'm going to go ahead then, and we're going to wrap the show.
Okay.
Again, Kathy saying I was right next to the finish line when Gunrunner won the Breeders' Cup Classic. Well, guess what? I'm going to show that replay for you right now to close out the show. I will say real quick, I was pregnant at the time. I was there. I couldn't tell anybody I was pregnant. I told like maybe 1 or 2 other people because it was under wraps at that point. And everybody was passing around free champagne, and I couldn't have any. And everyone's like, "Why aren't you drinking?" I'm like, "I'm working." not lying. So yeah, but this was an amazing race. And again, Michael, thank you so much for your time. Here we're gonna sit back now and watch Daddy winning at Del Mar, where she herself is gonna try and win the Juvenile Fillies. Everybody, this has been your Future Stars forecast on this 2-year-old Tuesday. Hope you enjoyed.
They're all in line. We are ready for the start. They're off in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Arrowgate broke to his left coming out of the starting gate. Not a good beginning for him, but a great one for Gunrunner and Collected. These two will go out for the early lead together, and a crush of horses trying to get position behind them. Muktahid, Churchill, and on the outside, West Coast. And then it's Pavel right behind them. Then it's War Story. Arrowgate, who hung a left coming out of the gate, is racing about 10 lengths off the lead with a lap to go. He's alongside of Gunavera. After that, it's War Decree and Win the Space. So Gunrunner will get ahead of Collected early on here. That first quarter mile was a taxing 22.50 seconds. And with 7 furlongs to run, Florent Giroux and Gunrunner lead it by a length. Collected and Martin Garcia second on the outside. Churchill is third. And then it's West Coast running in fourth. Muktahij is fifth by 2. Pavel is sixth. Arrowgate is down on the inside of War Story onto the backstretch. Mike Smith trying to find a good spot with him. He's 8 lengths off the lead after a 46.31 half mile. Then Gunavera and War Decree, and far behind is Win the Space. So they go up the backstretch in the Breeders' Cup Classic at Del Mar. And Gunrunner and Collected are 1-2. And Arrowgate is near the back of the field. Mike Smith trying to urge him. He's still about 8 lengths behind. Racing for the far turn, Gunrunner the leader. On the outside, Collected has been battling him the whole way. 3/4 up at 110.50 seconds. West Coast is now 4 lengths off the lead and being ridden by Javier Castellano. War Story is fourth under a drive. Arrowgate's going to take the far outside route. He's coming up on the outside of Gunavera, but he's a long way behind Gunrunner and Collected as they make their way to the top of the stretch in the Breeders' Cup Classic. They're into the stretch, and it's Collected and Gunrunner. They've been battling since the gates opened. Gunrunner's got the lead. Collected, West Coast is bearing down on them on the outside. Final 16. Gunrunner reaching for the wire. Collected's alongside. And then comes West Coast and War Story. But Gunrunner's on top of the world. He wins the Breeders' Cup Classic over Collected. Then came West Coast, followed by War Story. Arrowgate was coming late, but too late. The final time was 2 minutes 1.29 seconds.
What a performance by Gunrunner to make the presentation. Juan Carlos Capelli of Longines also